Today, we are featuring Christian Perry. I am so proud of his hard work and determination, but mostly, I'm thankful for the strength that his faith has given him along the way. Christian is a man who has defied odds to make his way up the political ladder. His dedication to making a difference has led to big strides for our city and ultimately, I believe, for our nation. Stay tuned for a portion of his journey. I'm Claudia Parker. 5 Minutes of Faith starts now.
My name is Christian Perry. I'm a community organizer, leadership strategist, and political scientist, and I am here on 5 Minutes of Faith with Claudia Parker. My foray into politics started in 2017, volunteering. I started knocking doors, making phone calls, and there was a gentleman that was working on the Pritzker campaign that overheard a phone call that I had with an elderly voter who wasn't the biggest fan of the candidate I was calling her about, but we sat for about 15 minutes and he heard me wrestle with this woman in a way that was respectful, in a way that was informed, in a way that was empathetic. And when I got off the phone, he said, "You ever thought about doing this full time?" And at the time I was in between jobs and I was like, sure. And I started on the J.B. Pritzker campaign for his first election, J.B. Pritzker and Juliana Stratton. We won that primary. Put some of my just innate skills to work, organizing on the south side and the south suburbs of Chicago. And people started to notice. I had that call on my life from when I was a little boy doing speech meetings, second grade. And my grandmother, grandfather, mother would always say, "Oh, he's a leader for his generation." I was the oldest of 7, but I never wanted that title at all. But it wasn't until the journey of my life, which I'm still on, began to unfold from my military service in the Navy to opportunities at Trinity Christian College, where I received my bachelor's in political science, to my college coaching career, from that to organizing, from organizing to working my way up the ranks in campaigns and at different levels of government, whether it be at the county and the state. I began to realize that there was something innate in me that allowed me to connect with people. And God had placed in me a heart to care for people. And it just so happens that at this point in time in society, those are the people that are being lifted up into leadership positions. In 2018, when I was reaching out to Commissioner Brandon Johnson for coffee, he would make time for me. And I could ask him questions because I saw another black man. He grew up Kojic, I grew up Pentecostal, so kind of the same. But a black man, spirit-filled, loved God, husband, father. I'm 15 years his junior. I want to learn from you, sir, because you're moving in this space in a way that I hope to be able to move. And he always made himself available to me. We're young kids in this space, and often in politics, young people don't really get the time of day because they're not seen as a key demographic, or they're seen as the return on investment won't be worth the time. That's not who he was. I don't know if he saw something in me. He sometimes jokes and says I'm the little brother he didn't ask for. But that's kind of how I made the decision to align myself, because at the end of February it was becoming more and more clear that the movement that now Mayor Johnson was building was catching fire. And when he reached out at the end of February and he said, "Hey, I need you. Are you ready to come on full time and help get me across the finish line?" I asked my wife, and my wife was like, "Go do what you do." God sent me the partner that me and my son needed. Because, I'll share this story. When I first ended the first campaign, I wasn't as connected as I am now. Politics and government is very much so networking based. People have to know about the work that you do, the skills that you possess. And I didn't know where my next job was coming from at the end of the first campaign. This was back in 2018. And my then girlfriend, now wife, looked at me and she said, "Christian, you're connected to me now. You'll never go without a job." When I gotta go and do something, when she has to go and do something, we step up for one another. And our nonprofit, that's another story. Black Millennial Renaissance is something that we do together and that we're still growing. Without my faith, I don't know that I would be in the line of work that I'm in. And my grandmother and grandfather always raised me to just say, just make sure you give them the glory. Very rarely are you going to see me celebrating a campaign victory or a legislative accomplishment, whether it's passing the assault weapons ban or standing up the R3 program. You're going to hear me say, look at what God is doing through me. And that's my way of trying to share my testimony with young people and folks, my senior, that God can take anything and redeem it. If he can take a 1.8 GPA, didn't walk across the stage in high school, and take me to where I am now, where state leaders and leaders of some of the largest cities in the world trust me for advice, he can do that for anybody.